Watch how you talking to me. Watch how you talking to me. Watch how you talking to me. Watch how you talk. Watch how you talking to me. Watch how you talking to me. Watch how you talking to me. Watch how you talk. Have you ever seen snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Fall in the six. Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Fall in the six. Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? If I knew back then what I knew right now, I'd be on right now. I'm the nigga right now. I'm the nigga right now. Got your bitch right now. Since you want it right now, getting litty right now. Wanna text me right now. Outside right now. Please do not get in my face. You know that I'm riding no whip. I just needed my space. I drink it straight with no chase. Love when you making that face. Living out of suitcase. Annie, are you okay? I fuck you good the long way. Watch how you talking to me. 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 Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six?
She's a keeper, legs like Serena, strong like Xena, turn into a screamer. She's a dancer, money from Atlanta. She's a cancer, phone ring, no answer. I'm getting litty, mixed dirty with the Fanta. My life a movie, I always got a camera. I'm at Cabana, she's sucking my banana. Ooh, na-na. If we never met, I'm there right now. Put a bullet in my hair right now.
Yeah, I'm living off of moonlight, moonlight. Talking but you don't fight. About a new life. Even when I'm wrong, you know I'm still right. On another level, reach a new height. I used to hit the block just in all white. No, I can't bless you, but my gun might. Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Fall in the six. Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? Fall in the six. Yeah, I'm living off of moonlight, moonlight. Have you ever seen a snowfall in the six? What I know right now, what I know right now, if I knew right now, what I knew right now, I be on 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 right now.
Thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate you. H in the building. That's euros, right? I'm so ignorant. Nah, I'm pretty sure that's euros. I be knowing monies. Big Han in the building. Cam in the building.
Watch how you talking to me.
Did this restart already?
Watch how you talking to me. Watch how you talking.
Yeah, it
Watch
did.
how you talking to me. Watch how you talking
Here we go. Greetings and salutations. Sorry, I thought I saw my my thing mute. I hope everyone's having themselves a mighty fine day. Like the video, subscribe, hit that bell. Time for some more Tower of Mazino. Urek'S Ascent. Chapter 7. I read 2 translations. They were both ass. So we did the absolute best we could to make sense of everything. Because I'm going to tell you off rip, the whole carbonated beverage, soda, pop, I know depending on where you come from, we call it different things. I think we call it pop down here. I think in America they say soda, but a carbonated beverage. I'm like, are they drunk? You don't get drunk off a pop. Like, are they, like, is this some weird censorship thing that Webtoon/Naver has to do? But then I'm like, Tiara, the GOAT, Shout out to Han in the building. And Yuri had a drink off in the main series. They were lit. They were twisted. And I've read plenty of webtoons where they were drinking soju amongst or other things, right? So I'm like, what is this weird? Hey, I'm having a bad day. Give me some of that soda. I'm like, the world is spinning, and I'm like, what's in the soda? Depends on where in the U.S. if pop or soda. The go. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. I guess pop or soda, depending where you are. They drinking that old time soda when they still had cocaine in that ish. Not the cocaina. Translation's funky as hell, but we keep it moving better than no translation. I ain't waiting how many months, 3 months for a line webtoon to give me still a subpar one. I think the problem I've had is that like with webtoons, even though it's quote unquote the official translation, they do a lot of dumb things themselves. So I can't take them seriously either. Do you guys remember what Baylord Yama's name said the first time he dropped? Who remembers? I want to know who was around like 5 years ago when he was introduced. Called that man Baylord. Baylord Yama. Simu's calling him Big Load. Awful. I've read enough bad translations that I now auto proofread in my head now. I actually could do that too myself to some degree. You know what's gotten so bad? It is your guys' fault. Listen, I know a lot of you guys aren't native English speakers. I'm not mad at anyone else, but for the rest of you, that reading comprehension and writing ability is terrible. I'm so used to reading bad grammar that sometimes when I read a proper sentence, I'm in fix it mode. Like, where's the mistakes? And like, it's a perfectly normal sentence, you know. But okay. I like the chapter. I ended up giving it a 7.5. This is the lowest score I've given out of the 7 Urek'S Ascent chapters so far. I just like it the least comparatively. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't not enjoy my time. Just thought there was not too much to sink my teeth into. So I don't foresee this being like an hour and a half, 2 hour long stream. Probably hour tops. If we have a lot of things to discuss. I don't have too much to say, but generally speaking, before I hop into the nitty gritty, what's our general thoughts? How do you guys feel with the chapter in a general sense? You liking it? You not liking it? It was cool. How are we feeling? I liked a lot of the interaction with the regulars. That was really fun. Get seeing them talk about regular mundane stuff, just chilling. Drinking soda, pop, carbonated beverages, getting drunk. Evelyn, Lopabia Evelyn bugging out, tweaking out. She did have an interesting moment with one of the rankers for the positions test, where since they knew she was a Lopabia, they wanted to test her for a special position to see how good she was with as an anima. So they gave her a dog to pet to see if I guess she could tame it, control it. I'm not sure, but she didn't like that. And apparently, depending on the translation, one says whatever animal she touches, she ruins. The other one, I think it says she destroys them. One of the interesting things about the Lopabia family that I noticed in the most recent arc was that not all of them had an animal ability. Now, I don't know if you have to be gifted one. You can just find one or some. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but remember, there was like Katan and a couple of other guys who just had like guns. He just had blicks. He had the revolver, the shoddy, like he just had guns. And now you can say that that's like associated with hunting, so it still stays in that like animal hunter. So maybe there's there's two sides to it, but it seemed like she was one that didn't really control any creatures. So it was kind of interesting to see that the ranker was like, hold on, I know what family you're from. Hey, bring out the dog. Bring out Clifford. I'm putting my nuts on the table and saying that weak guy who got attacked at the end is actually an FUG, and if I'm wrong, may Naya be struck by lightning. Wait, what? Why aren't you getting struck by the lightning? Why is it me? 7.5 would have been an 8 with the BAM cameo. Without the BAM cameo. The BAM cameo was so random and funny. Interesting artistic choice. I don't know how to feel about that one. I feel like there's no need to put him in there unless we're actually talking about him. I get it. He's an irregular who's a wave controller and whatnot, but I don't know. It felt like a weird thing to just kind of slip him in there. It felt really unnecessary, but cool cameo, I guess. Probably give it a 7-ish rating too. Wasn't a fancy chapter, but it's a progressive one to keep the ball rolling. Feel it. Those were Katan Shinhue. What does that remind me of? It reminds me of the Elfin in Legend of Hay, where they took over the badmintons and became sentient. I feel like this chapter was needed just to develop a certain connection between these characters, so that if any tragic thing happens and they get affected emotionally, it's understandable. I'm not mad at that take. That makes sense to me. 8 out of 10 chapter for me. Wish we had better translations, but I enjoyed the character interactions. It was really bad. I was having those moments where I would just pause and be like, did you really just say that? What did he say in one of them, the Vortex scan? Like, hey, what are you do? I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you do? Like, come on, man. Why do I feel like this spinoff does too well? If it does too well, it might get a second season or continuation of some sort. I'm here for it. I don't know about that. But what I'll say is this. I do, for some reason, believe that maybe I'm wrong about the length. I don't know if you guys have heard me say this a few times, but I'm like, I was guessing 16 to 22 chapters max. I actually think we could possibly get more. If he has no intention of bringing back Tower of God this year and wants to keep working on side stuff and spin-offs, I can see this going up to like 30 chapters. And I know you can be like 22 to 30 is not crazy, but you have to remember it's weekly. That's 2 months. 4 weeks, a month. Another 4 weeks, another month. That's 2 months, 2 extra months. So it is actually kind of significant in a real time sense. I'm not sure though, but I think what's blowing me a little bit is that I think that I expected this to be more of a speed run and a montage. And it's not to say that when they become actual regulars, we don't kind of, okay, we're on floor 6, we're on floor 10, we're on floor whatever. And maybe for the points that we know where Urek'S Mazino had meaningful interactions, that's where we slow things down. So maybe the first time he meets Yuri, Garam, Bayek Ryun, the whole forest ordeal, shrinking the forest down and creating Wolhike Sung. Maybe Mr. Lu's death when he starts to wear the hat backwards now. Ariehan's sword test on floor 100. Like maybe like when we get to those tidbits, that's when we slow down and get a bit more. But one thing I was actually still hoping to see was like callbacks and flashbacks to outside the tower and his interactions, maybe as like a toddler. Like maybe he's like 6, 7 years old. So he's not a baby, but he's not as big as he is now. Because like, could I ask you the question? How old do you think he is? If at the very beginning, there was only darkness. And then there was light, which caused time, movement, and life. How many years after Phantom Minim turned everybody, the Shining Ones, into VVS Diamonds, was Mazino born? And how long was he out there before we came into the tower? He could actually be really old. Or not that old. So I'm not even entirely sure how old Mazino is. Because I caught something about him. He calls everybody a kid or a baby. And I thought that was just some like cool line. But what if in his mind he's being literal? Like, I am millions of years old. It doesn't particularly matter that you're 100,000. You're a baby to me. Because I have so much more life on you. That's a thought that I had. Give me a second. Get what I'm saying? I'm not saying he is old or young. I'm not sure, but I think there's evidence that shows evidence that supports both sides of the argument. Does you really hate dogs? Me? I'm not an animal guy personally. I like cats better. My son George, my girlfriend's cat. That's my guy. But I'm one of those people where it's like, I like nature. I like flowers. And like, forestry and like plants and stuff more than anything. I have several cacti in my house, and like I have a garden back there and stuff. Like that's more my thing. I never really had pets, not really around them like that. But like if you have a dog and I come to your house often, at some point I become cool with your dog or your cat or whatever. If that makes sense. But I'm not the type of person to see a dog on the street and go, "Oh, doggy, oh." I don't fucking know you. I don't know your dog. I'm just gonna keep walking. Like I'm just gonna ignore it. That's just me though. No hatred though. It's just a general indifference. But some of them are tasty. Like I like chickens because they taste good. Though seeing Urek'S Shinsu makes me really wonder how Urek'S would do against an admin. I have a feeling Enryu might only be second due to his feet, but Urek'S might actually be stronger. I don't dislike that take. But based on all I would say is based on the information we have, we would have to say that Enryu is more gifted with Shinsu though. If he just came in a tower and went floor 43, and he came and he saw all those hard zealots and said, "No, Crimson. I'm in the wrong color. I'm in blue. Crimson Shinsu, make it rain. 9,000 bangs. Dead. Administrator, bodied. I created the thorn. Goodbye." That meant he just learned Shinsu in like 2 seconds and did 9,000 bangs. So it make him very, very gifted. It's hard. It's hard to say, man. I have a lot of videos where I touch on like what I think about Enryu, Phantom Minim, Zahard, and the 13 Great Warriors, and Urek'S Mazino, and their overall importance to the tower and the grander Tales user story universe and whatnot. So stay tuned for those. They'll be coming out. I mean, if you're on my Patreon, you can see it right now, just so you guys know. You can see it right now, today. Because I updated it with 6 videos last week, and then this week. So yeah, like look, Urek'S is too strong. Who's a better MC? Founding of Urek'S song. The Hat. Who was this? Talking about the princess. That's the latest Kubera. I talked about the variety of irregulars. The Luminous one. Urek'S versus Phantom Minim. Implications on the Tales of the Story universe. Then obviously the 6 chapters that we read last week that I took off my Twitch, so you have to be there live to see it, or be on the Patreon. And like the other like ahead Kubera chapters that are ahead. So my Patreon is actually really stacked. These are some live reactions and videos that I couldn't get past the YouTube copyright that are only here. So consider pledging. I'll drop it in the comment section if you want to. There's a $3 tier, a $6 tier, and a $12 tier Canadian dollar CAD. And our dollar is garbage, so yeah, we'll be alright. But yeah, I touch on a lot of these things in some of these videos. You feel like Urek'S is around 18 to 23, like literally that age, or like the body of an 18-year-old. like literally that's crazy. Oh, do you think that maybe they just grow normally on the outside? So maybe he could be like 23, but then in the tower he's been here for 50 years, so he stayed at that age. That's actually something I didn't consider. Maybe outside the tower you age normally. That's such a good point. I wonder if Urek'S will be pushed to his limits, forced to take things seriously. He will. I think so. Urek'S Shinsu gained sentience and immediately started talking Danzan. That's hilarious to me. It was funny. He called him ugly, bad hair, and a side character. If Urek'S race species ages like Towerborn based on self-image, then he might be really old. If he ages normally before he got on the tower, he might just be like a 20-year-old or something like that. Yeah. I was quoting one of the bad translations. Oh, does you really hate dogs? That's what it was. That was one of them. Yeah, there were some bad translations, man. CBL's getting all the content, indeed. The thing is, in the spin-off, his behavior so far kind of displays a younger guy in his 20s, 30s human years, or that's just me. I don't think you're wrong. I don't know why I didn't consider the idea that you age normally outside the tower. So now I think I might agree with you guys. Like maybe like I wouldn't put him past 25. 25 is probably the oldest I'd give him if they age normally out there. Then he spent 50 years climbing in the tower, making him, I don't know, I can't, wait, 50 plus 25, 75. I know that. I can do that. That's easy math. That's quick maths. Quick maths. So, and then depending on how long he's been in there now, he's like, closer to 1,000. So yeah, I feel like they get bigger in the tower, but they still look young. Aging in the tower is kind of weird to me because I would argue there's characters that like I think are younger than some other characters, but look way older. Like I don't know that for sure. Hajin Song is older than Lopobia Lobadan, but I would argue they're probably comparable. Like if you're like the son or direct descendant of Trauma as your dad, and Ha Jin Sung is the grandson of Ha Yurin, I don't know. Actually, I guess if you're the grandson, you're probably not as old. I don't know. It's hard to say. Bro, 1,000 and getting slammed for his hairline. He beat the hairline allegations. And Dorsey was at least 300 when she was on the floor of tests. It's true. Madarako. There's Madarako too. But I'm sure he's probably like really, really, really old. It's hard to tell sometimes. But yeah, aging, we'll see how old he really is. Trauma looks younger than his kids. He does. I wonder if I don't remember if the immortality contract also said eternal youth. But anyways, let me see here. Okay, so Let me scroll up. So yeah, the princess that we don't know. I'm gonna ask you guys in a short soon who you guys think it is. You get a chance to guess. By the way, I want to do a giveaway. A game, a comic, a manga, and like maybe something else. I want to do a giveaway, but it's a 10K giveaway. So let's get me the 10K by year's end. We're at 6K right now. I appreciate you guys. I really do. We got to get 4,000 more. But I want to do a giveaway. I already bought them, and one of them is a game that's really good. But okay. So the princess and the dude I think who got eaten by the goat first, they were talking, but she was like, "Listen, I don't team up with just anybody. I'm pretty cautious." So she's still on her gimmick. We got the goat Terry Rohan. Number 3 in Wall Hike Sung, and Mr. Liu just talking about the drinks. They go drinking in Things room. Then Evelyn crashes. Then I think her part with the whole anima thing and the dog was pretty interesting, pretty cool. But then she got lit off the soda. And then Mazino, being very perceptive, and I guess it's hard to sneak up on him, asked the one guy who joined his team later, who smells like salt. What's this whole salt deal, by the way? What's going on with the salt? Why is he on his Kingdom Hearts sea salt ice cream gimmick? He asks him on a test go, and he shows him a bang. Like, boom, I did this. Actually, let me put it on screen. I did this. Let me actually pull this up just a little bit, right? Pull this a little bit. And he's like, oh, that's sick. That's the power that the administrator, the ranker was using against me. Like, Danzon, right? He's like, yeah, but much weaker and less refined. She's like, keep an eye on him. He's really gifted. So they're like, okay, I'm going to teach. Well, she's still plotting, but he's like, all right, now teach me how to do it. He fixes the door. This was actually comical. He says, what an annoying character this man has. And then he kind of explains Shinsu in a way that we know, but slightly different. We've never had this part here with the connecting tube. Where is it? This connecting tube part where it's almost like you're using yourself as a hose to pour into it. Like it's connected. And then maybe you cut it off. I don't know. But it just explained how to make a bang. And that's when Mazino tries to do it. And he fails, succeeds. I'm not sure. But this also has my favorite part of the chapter. I think it's hilarious because when he can't do it, And he's like, didn't you say you learned it in one day? He's like, I'm a genius. He said, I'm really like that though. I see you not being able to do it, I understand, but me, I'm really him. I'm really like that. That actually made me laugh. That was so funny to me. He said, I'm a genius. Self-proclaimed, bro. He gave himself the title. I'm not mad at it. You got to be confident in this life, but you won't get anywhere. So, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. But, yeah. Since Tower God came back, we jumped like 60 subscribers in like a week or two. So, and for me, that's a lot. I don't get like hundreds or thousands by the day. I get like one or two or lose one or two. Got a guess on who this princess is? I don't. I have zero idea. I have no guess. I don't even know if it's a princess that we know of already or haven't seen, or if it's just somebody completely new. But I don't think it's Eurasia, and I've had some people ask me that. I don't think it's her, and I don't think it's well, I know it's not Adori. Sorry. I think she might be the one who refused to take one of the 13-month series. No explanation, just a feeling. I think SIE is playing into his ocean themes with the salt, but like, what does it mean though? But why would that have significance to Mazino? Like, if I was from here and I woke up in the tower and someone smelled like salt, I wouldn't be like, I have to team up with them. They smell like pink Himalayan salt. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't care. Imagine nobody in the current spinoff makes it into like something in the future. That's sad. That make me sad. I think Anne is too old to have been a regular with Urek'S climbing. I agree with this. I think she's already been sealed. I think the chronological order of certain events is not something I've ever really thought about. So now that I'm trying to do it in real time, I'm trying to remember all the timelines of everything. But I might have to just go back and do it, or see if someone has made a Tower of God timeline video that I can fact check. And cause I'm not doing it. Maybe Haku will do it. I'm gonna ask Haku, we gotta do that the ultimate Tower of God timeline. He be taking on the projects. Me? You're not getting that from me. I'm not doing that. So since Urek climbed the tower in 50 years, I doubt any one of them climbed with him because they can't keep up. Hi, Urek. You forgot to use your burner account, bro. You trying to say that you're the greatest climber of the tower? I'm joking. Katie burner account joke. NBA guys get it. I actually don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if a few, like maybe like 2 to 3 went with him. And I wouldn't say Mr. Lou or Terry Rohan, but I would say like maybe the guy who calls himself a genius, maybe the princess and someone else who's gifted. Maybe if he meets Bayak Ryun soon. So yeah. How are you guys finding the art style? Good. There hasn't been too much combat or anything, so I can't really comment on how the combat is gonna look, because season 3 I think has been up and down, a little bit rough at times, but I think it's been solid. I don't think people have really looked weird or disproportionate or anything of the sort, or like off model or anything. I think he's been solid since he's come back. Like 7 for 7 chapters so far. The art's been. You think Salt Boy Wave Controller is trying to take down Urek? I don't. I don't even think he knows what Mazino really is. Because credit to my chat during the Twitch stream, I forgot who brought them up, but I'm not taking credit for this. I'm just using what you said to me to disseminate the information. Actually, I should pull it up here a little bit too. Actually, no, I'll wait. Anybody who's an in-tower habitant is a wiki one. Wait, wiki for what? What is this? No, I don't want to leave YouTube. There you go. Tower of God. Oh, nice. There's a prehistory. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna keep that open. Thank you. I might go through this later and just fact check some things. Nice. Okay. Sorry. Back on track. What was I talking about? Salt wave controller. Administrators on each floor have to give you permission to use Shinsu. And if he knows that, he can't just teach somebody how to do it. See, when Bam was taught by Lore how to make the bang really easily to flex on Ho, to show that Ho was not really talented. Remember, Young Sleep, Lore. This is like with a Yuga, aka Lopo BRN. This is season 1. Bam had already talked to the administrator. So as far as everyone knew, everyone made a contract. So they didn't know. So that made it less likely for them to know he was an irregular. If somebody knew that Mazino was an irregular, would they even know that he doesn't need permission from the administrator? You can't teach someone how to use Shinsu if they don't have permission. So I thought that was an interesting point to bring up. My chat brought that up, though. That didn't even cross my mind. So I'm gonna leave Fanta for now because I don't know if Fanta really fought anybody. He just pulled up on Zahar and said, "Oh, you're a bum. You're a waste. Is this your king?" And he left. Enryu, 9,000 bangs immediately gifted. Can't speak about the 13 great warriors yet, but we know everyone had their specialty. Bam was able to make a bang once he was taught directly. Yes, in the overall class, he didn't really grasp anything, but once Lori was like, imagine a light in your hand, he was like, bang, boom, easy. Mazino, it's hard to qualify what he's doing as a failure, success, or somewhere in the middle. He's trying to visualize what the guy's telling him, but he's making a really big shining spot under the entire ship that they're under, and as he's getting more frustrated and trying to make it bigger or fill it or whatever, it's getting larger. Then, as if it feeds off of his emotion, the things that it would say, it was talking smack to the ranker Danzon. All that's fascinating. But to me, I'd argue what this is a demonstration of his raw power, but not necessarily his refinement and control yet. I do think by the time we see him later on, he's got insane Shinsu control. I could argue he's thus far, shown some of the best Shinsu control, especially when it comes to physical body reinforcement. But right now, he's an ape. He's just using a lot of power. But someone mentioned maybe if he was outside on the ship and he can visually see what he was doing, he might be able to kind of wrap it up in a ball and then make it a bang. But then again, it looks really sparkly, shiny, bright, luminous. Even Danzon said he's never seen Shinsu this bright or light before. Does that mean that he's pouring his luminous powers into the bang instead? Or is this kind of like his Shinsu quality is actually light? Shine. The shine quality. There's a lot to consider. Urek'S actually gets exponentially stronger the more he gets rejected by girls, but the moment a girl actually accepts him, he's going to lose all of it. That's funny. That's funny. Where was I? It was me. Why was it you? Maybe SIU slipped and forgot to add it. It's possible. Dan, that's a good point. Dan, wait, did you catch the Barca game? Real football is back. No, I did not watch it. I know El Clasico is coming up, or not today. But no, I know Inter and Barca had a good game recently. My boy Harry Kane finally got himself. I say my boy. I'm not a Harry Kane fan. F Bayern, but hey man, he got his trophy. shout out to him. I don't know. All this hype about Urek'S and we have fight with Luminous it's actually hilarious. All this hype about Urek'S and we have fight. What do you mean by that? One thing I find hard to picture in my head is a pure REA family not using swords but like guns or something else. I'm sure there's probably some people in that family doesn't have like general sword, I don't know, aptitude, if you will. But so far I think everyone we've seen has used a sword. I think so. What's wrong with Luminous? He is just as strong. What do you mean what's wrong with him? He is pretty strong though. He is really strong. What I've always wanted Hatsu to do though is to beat a direct descendant from the Aria family. A gun Aria probably uses gun blades. It's just Squall, Leon, or Eclair. What's her name? What's her name is actually Eclair, but what is her Lightning? Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. I'm about his results in fights. Well, let's see. Lucelak fought against Arya, Han, and lost. Mazino, you can call it a bit of a tie or a W. And then he kind of helps his master escape in Bam's body, and that's really the most we've seen him do. So we're gonna see more from him, but we know that he's strong enough that a family head will move to keep him in check if he ever gets active. So looks like it's a problem. He's nice. Okay, let's keep going. So yeah, he's like, I'm a genius, but yeah, this was definitely some interesting stuff though. Like, by the way, him being with this sleep mask and this like pajama set, also having like a little like bunny, a stuffed animal in his hand, that was hilarious. That was funny. That's funny stuff. How long do you expect Mazino to stick around his team before he starts to speedrun the tower? I feel like he either meets or takes the like 2 to 3 most gifted people with him that at least have some type of skill. So like right now, if I think he would, like, if he could leave right now, he would take maybe the princess. I know he's not getting along with her, but she's talented enough to maybe keep up with him. I say keep up with him, but not need his help all the time in some capacity. For some reason, I'm not gonna give you a timeline or a floor. I'm gonna give you an event. I think when Mr. Lu dies, and he takes his hat or gets the hat and he starts to wear in honor of him, he starts to think that being around him could be too dangerous, and that's when he starts to maybe go more solo. But Mazino doesn't seem to be against camaraderie and teamwork, from my understanding. I mean, he's a part of a group. He created a group. So I think it depends on what kind of person you think he is. If you think he really is a true lone wolf, he doesn't seem to like not mind. I don't think he minds company as long as it's the right company. Just dropping by to say I love the design of the Jihad Princess. She reminds me of Sophia Tan and Urek the Goat. Massive Shinsu, massive W's. Yes, sir. Massive. Pause. The fact that Urek'S Shinsu might be sentient is another thing. Also, I don't know if it being sentient is an interesting thought that I have, but I wonder if it just responds to his emotions and his thoughts. So the fact that he wants to beat that ranker, Danzon, he was like, "You're ugly. Your hair's trash. You're a minor character." By the way, I sorry if I already asked this here. I know I asked this on my other stream, but do you guys think the current floor ruler of floor 2, the test that makes the regulars that actually start to climb the tower as ED, CBA, I could reverse my alphabet, ranker, upper ranker, higher ranker, climb. Do you think that the floor ruler before Evankel is still ruling? Or do you think Evankel is the floor ruler, or is Evankel going to come after the fact? Because one thing that I found interesting too is Danzon saying that, I can't remember the guy's name, but he has like the mask, kind of like Tramre. He said he's at the castle, and that guy's obviously on some demonic ish. He's doing some weird stuff. He's doing some behind the scene things. I remember when he's like, "Oh, how are these batch of regulars?" And someone said it was normal. He mentioned in the way they like kill. So maybe Evankel bodies these guys and takes over the floor. So yeah. But sentient Shinsu would be crazy. Crazy. I don't even know if he's mixing Shinsu with his luminous powers in a weird way, actually. Rehab. Yes, there we go. Rahab. I couldn't remember his name. Thank you. Okay, let's keep going. So yeah. He was frustrated, wasn't working. Then he goes to the outs. Then he goes to P, Tinkle. Oh wait, The guy who got eaten by the goat tries to pull up on the goat himself. The king. Hold on. Now, pay attention. Lock in for a second. What we're not going to do is play with my man's Terry Rohan. He stays alert. He's in the zone. Look at that. Midorima in the zone. You're not sneaking up on a real ninja. Boom. No vital points were hit. Hey, stop playing with number 3 and Will Hike Sun, bro. I don't until otherwise. It is Mazino, Mayak, Ryun, and Rohan. That is number 3 in Will Hike Sun. I don't care how anyone feels about it. That I'm running that joke into the ground until told otherwise. That's my man's, bro. He in the gym. Swole. Real question is why that floor ruler is always gone. Put a new one in there. Great point. But if Vankel wasn't really there either. That's why I wonder if it's a Vankel. I feel like it's a Vankel, but SIU may take this opportunity to introduce another character or maybe even its first design of a Vankel. And maybe after this, a Vankel gets Lee Roro and Han Sung Yu. Maybe Urek'S fights all of them and leaves a vacancy for a Vankel to fill. A Vankel should already rule this floor. She is old. I think this spinoff is just going to be about the second floor, just like Tower of God Season 1, and I think the ending of this scene will be when Urek'S moves to the next floor and a Vankel Han Sung Yu going to show up. I don't think I agree with that. I do think we're going to leave this floor and start the climb. I'm just, again, there's no way for anyone to know. We're all just speculating. We're just prognosticating, which is fine, right? My best guess is we kind of take our time here, Crown game, we finish it off, Danza, whoop-de-whoop, and then we start to montage. You might get a picture of like him just like in the air like this with the hat on, floor 6. Him with like someone else, floor 11. Then like for every significant moment we know of, the first time he met Yuri, maybe Garam, Hell Joe on the 43rd floor. Maybe when he meets Bayak Ryun finally in the forest, shrieking the forest down. Then him like blocking a sword, like R.E. Han's test. Like I could see us montaging at that point. That's my guess, but I could be wrong. I don't know what to expect at this point, honestly. And I'm just here for the ride, enjoying it week by week. Vankel and Han Sung Yu are a duo, and Han Sung Yu didn't seem to know Urek'S personally when talking about him season 1. That's a good point. I hope to see Terry in the future. Please, SIU. We need Terry, bro. We need that man. If Urek'S defeats a ranker, even high ranker, in this floor, would that not make his record bigger than Bam's? What do you mean by his record? We know that the only people we know, I think for sure, confirm that beat a ranker is Bam, Midori, and then possibly Mazino soon. But what do you mean by record? Like his fighting record? Do you mean his notoriety in the tower? What do you mean? I'm honestly interested to see to hear the name of the princess. Odd that we haven't gotten it yet. There's got to be a reason. I'm gonna give you guys a chance to guess before the reveal though. So we'll see who gets it right, and maybe you'll get a prize. I'll be honest. I was searching for news, updates, and info on the spinoff and came across your channel. I'm going to take a guess. I wasn't the only one who did. I appreciate that. I did notice that I think there was some click rate impression thing that's usually low that was higher, which I think it means people found me from the internet. I'm not sure. I actually should check my analytics more. I don't check them. I hardly check them these days. But yeah, man, I've always I've been covering Tower God on YouTube for 6.5 years now. I think I started with the first live reaction I did on the channel was actually when Jihad came to the hidden floor. When Bam was fighting with Dada Zahar. I think that's the first thing we talked about and covered. And then from there, I've been doing, videos, streams, live reactions. I actually have, if you haven't seen, I actually do have streams with other Tower God content creators. So like Dr. Bonehead, Haku, Ryzen at the time, AOA at the time, Ordering Mark and stuff. But I also do the Raws. Like some of those guys are official only. As soon as the chapter is out, I'm on it. I ain't waiting 3 weeks, 3 months for no chapters, but I appreciate that though. There isn't many dedicated YouTubers reporting and making vids on TOG apart from the big YouTuber Dr. Bonehead, not many dedicated TOD YouTubers. So yeah, I like your vids. I'm here. I'm here now. Appreciate it. I am a lot more critical than Dr. Bonehead though. Just so you know. I am never been afraid to speak my mind. So if I don't like something, I will criticize it. If I like something, it'll get praised. If somewhere in the middle, I'll just stay somewhere in the middle. I'm not like super mega positive all the time necessarily. Just so you know. Kind of wish that there was a massive fandom and community like we have in the One Piece community. I do think that if Tower God creators connected more often, we could make something shake. I think the problem is we're all in our little pockets of the internet and we don't come together as often as not. I feel like if I'm not the one to try to have a big stream with all of us together for some reason, it doesn't really happen. I've been trying, but everyone's busy with life and things, and some of them are married. Some people have multiple jobs like me. So I'm trying though. I've been trying. A lot of us are in a group chat though. I mean, the record of Bam beating a ranker at C regular. So Mazino's would be better because he's not even E yet. He's still being tested to be one. But then, what if Mazino fights Danzon, beats him and or kills him, but doesn't tell anybody? He just goes, that was fun. So it's not even, I guess aside from that administrator, maybe people in the tower don't know. We don't know how it plays out. Maybe they don't even fight. But yeah, I feel it. Have we figured out how much of the old Phantom Minim story is canon? I forgot to look into that myself. We've changed a lot. Some people don't believe that the concept of an access exists anymore. And we tied Fanta to Urek'S Mazino a lot, which I thought was interesting. It is a bit of a retcon, but I don't have all the information yet. I'll try to get that for you for next time. There is a chance, just like the main series, the spin-off may come in seasons, and every hiatus you will switch between them. That's interesting to me, actually. So anytime it's okay, season 4 comes back. Let's say for season 4 we do 66 chapters, then we take a break. In 2 months we do 4 months of Mazino. And then maybe 2 months off, back to that's interesting. I'm not mad at that. Fanta just became even more broken. It's interesting that you say that because I've had a similar thought. I'm okay, even if he's not an Axis, why do I feel like if he is a being that was made by the natural state of the universe, the darkness, order, and non-movement, and they created the being that was the embodiment and the most powerful amongst them, who destroyed all the luminous ones? I'm if he's a primordial being of darkness, is he more busted than being some guy who conquered his story and got reality powers? Is this more broken? Are both things true? Is he an Axis and that? I don't know. To be honest, as much as I like the spinoff, I don't want to leave the main series. I mean, of course, the main series is the main series. I'm not. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm enjoying this, but at some point, I want to continue the actual story of Bam and company and see my boy Mew Love and stuff. But this has been a nice additive, addition to Tower of God. So I'm not mad at it. But I gotta say though, I'm enjoying following Urek'S a lot more right now, just because of the way Bam's been kind of treated and utilized throughout the 3rd season. I found Mazino to be a bit more fun to follow, and honestly the biggest reason for that is one really simple reason: he's just more proactive. He takes more control instead of being reactive and passive, and I like that a lot. I hope we get to see the family heads finding out Mazino's an irregular, and who do you think will be the first family head to run into him? For some reason, because I don't think SIU was going to reveal a family head we haven't seen already here, I actually think it would be Gustang for some reason. And Gustang seems to be the one that I think is the most active that most people see. So for some reason, based on the fact that they've had some conversations already, like Floor of Death and whatnot, I would argue it's Pobedal Gustang. I know it's not a sexy answer. It's not, but that'd be my guess, honestly. There's probably many people in the tower with high feats, but want to lay low, so they're not recorded. Yeah, I've always said, I'd be the type of person in some of these universes, I don't really want you to know what I can do. I wouldn't want all of that notoriety and praise all the time. The element of surprise. Well, season 3 Bam was meh, so I know how you feel. Yeah, that's kind of so. I'm having a great time. But then again, like I'll never sit here and pretend I'm not being biased, because I don't believe that being subjective, biased, and like non impartial makes you wrong necessarily. A good argument's a good argument, even if you're emotionally attached to it. Um, Urek'S Mazino is not my favorite Tower of God characters. He's in my top 10 easily, but he's my favorite of regular. So yes, my personal enjoyment is much higher because I'm following a character that I genuinely really like. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that that's not a big. It's like if we had a spinoff with Mio Love. I mean, all blue every time you see me with a bucket of chicken, blue orange. I'll color this blue and stand on it and surf the whole stream. I'll be acting a damn fool. Okay? So, because that's my favorite character. That's my boy. Mio Love. That's my guy. Bam has some connection with darkness, maybe. Yes. Last week we had a theory that the darkness created Bam to because Phantom Minim didn't go back when the darkness called him back. He was too enamored with his jewelry and just living life at that point. So I don't think Phantom Minim's controlled by the darkness anymore. He's become he's become his own person and entity. Potentially young Gus Dang around the workshop. Eon family floor is the lowest, so she might be the case too. Oh, Flower of Zagania, which could maybe tie him to the 20th floor with the animal. That's not a bad guess. I don't hate that at all. Lee Rang though. Wait, no, it's Eon. Hannah got changed to Lee Rang. Sorry, it's Eon. Whatever. Hi, baby. Hope you get Quadrata versus Urek. When Urek got Kranos, that's the last. There was one event I was trying to remember, because I think Urek gives Yuri the Kranos, right? So, yeah. Hi, baby. That works, though? Yeah. That was the last one I was forgetting. I knew there was an event I couldn't remember. I just feel like with Urek'S tattoo and his whole persona, he would want you to know his feet during his climb. Oh, he's definitely very like magnanimous and braggadocious and whatnot. Self-proclaimed champion of the tower, and is very, very much unafraid to flex his strength and let you know that he's powerful. But I don't know that he's like, okay, now that I've beaten this person, you need to go on the announcement, announce the tower, like, and tell everybody, Urek'S Mazino just beat a ranker, Dan. I don't know that he'd care to that level. Just be like, he might just be cool, like, all right, I beat him. I know what Shinsu is now. Let's move on. He's a pretty multifaceted character. Just got home? Okay. He's pretty multifaceted, so it really just depends on how it is that you view him. And I do think a lot of people have a bit of a myopic view of him, and a little bit obtuse when it comes to Mazino, but it's okay. That's why I'm here. Cape in the wind. Defending the greatest irregular. FUG's recruiter is going to be drooling when they get their eyes on Urek, but he's not going to want to join. But I am actually interested in seeing FUG, like, pre-BAM. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see them, how they're moving, what they're doing, what their plans are, machinations. Is Karaka the one they're putting their faith into? Is Karaka getting active? Like, that'd be cool to see. Wonder what FUG is doing right now. Maybe it's hard to, because I'm still trying to figure out if like Phantom Minim's already gone to him and kind of spooked him, you know? Being like, hey you, man. Oh, just to show it here. I forgot to show this here. I didn't want to show this here real quick. So if you take a look, Laura yawns. He's like, I don't think so. You must be talented in. Nope. What, Mr. Laurie? Aren't you being rude to someone else? Boy, give me your hand, huh? Your hand like this. Imagine what the whole world has gathered to become a circle in your hand. The whole world gathered in my hand in a circle. Create a circle. Boom. Look how easy he did that. Look at his face, and he says, "That is what you call talent, boy." Yo, why he do that to him? Why he ruined his whole life? Like, hey, look, guys, I could shoot a deep 3-pointer. Bam, go to the other side of the court. Imagine shooting the ball into the net. Swish. That's a real shooter. Like, bro, why did you flex on his whole life like that? It was so unnecessary. That's my boy Young Sleep, though. Ruined Ho's whole life. After that moment, Ho became an entire crash out. He just started bugging out the whole time after that, man. Can tattoo needle even pierce his skin? Can he lower his durability at will? I remember how he tanked Joe's attack without Shinsu. I don't know, but maybe like to imprint his skin. The tattoos. I don't even know how tattoos actually work. Like, do they ink the skin under the skin or is it on top of the skin? I don't really know, but maybe he tattooed himself, so he's strong enough to tattoo himself. I don't know. Since we are talking on who he's going to meet first, did any of the family heads realize he's a Luminous one, especially Gus or Han? Or do they even know what a Luminous one is? That's the thing. I don't know that they know what a Luminous one is. I'll spoil one of my videos just a little bit. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow. But the way that I'm currently like thinking right now is that Bam, his whole narrative and story is tied to the tower, conquering the tower by either changing it, devouring it, or becoming a god from it, an access, if you will. When Hadon said that Urek'S Mazino doesn't belong in the tower and doesn't need to really be here, and the fact that his goal is to leave, I actually think Mazino's role in the tower isn't particularly huge. Like, he doesn't really need to be here. So I think he actually will leave and go back to his Luminous One duties. I don't think the 13 Great Warriors necessarily come from the same place or space as he did. So I actually don't think they know about Luminous Ones or Shining Ones. That's my best guess. I'm not saying I'm right. That's what I think. I don't think they know. I think they just think he's an irregular. Because I think, oddly enough, the 13 Great Warriors are like the most normal irregulars. What do I mean by that? Rachel is weak as hell, but Rachel knows Arlene. Was she in the tower, left and came back in, but she was only able to open the door or go through the door because Bam opened it. Bam was born to 2 irregulars, killed, brought outside the tower, resurrected somehow, and then came back in. Then he came in weaker with a lot of room to grow, and like a child of prophecy, different. Enryu, Luminous One, primordial being of light, came into the tower, powerful as hell. Different. Tied to events outside the tower. Phantom Minim, primordial darkness, order, came into the tower. He's different. Enryu somehow just went to floor 43 and said, over 9,000! Dead, body, bang, bang, bang. Now it's just 3. Now it's just 2. Now it's just 1, whatever. Anyways, but like, destroyed them all. So I feel like they're actually different and gifted in some other ways and have like grander roles to play. Where I think the 13 Great Warriors, their role was to come into the tower, become regulars in the tower and change it and stay there. Where I feel like they're in the middle of those people. Zahard and maybe V transcends above them all because they were the best amongst that group. But I feel like Mazino's main purpose is tied more to the Tales user story universe than it is Tower of God. That's where I'm at right now, though. I could be wrong. Yes, like the stream. Where was I? Just got home. FG recruits gonna be drooling. Can tattoo need skin since we're gonna take it on. How do you think the family heads see access users? Do they understand the concept of access users? Would a king in a small pawn jihad submit to a monster like an access user. I don't know that they know what an access user is. I have to really learn where the 13 Great Warriors came from, because Bam came from a cave and Urek came from where he came from. So I don't think all the regulars really come from the same place or the same world, or maybe even the same timeline if you want to go there. I'm crying. I didn't even peep Lore. He's an ass for that. He really is. Since Gus told Urek on the floor of death that we and Zahard are your equals, I will assume they don't know. If Neo is an actual potential FUG Slayer candidate, he might have told FUG about Urek, and that's where the whole Urek recruitment comes in place. Possible. Considering how strong Urek is from the very beginning and what we get in the main story, it's possible he hasn't even used the power of light normally yet. I kind of agree with that. What if Rachel is only weak because Hadon gaslighted her? That's her fault. Break the shackles. Break the mind break. Behave. Gus saying to Urek that him, family has are his equals on the floor of death is funny as hell now that we got the spin-off. It kind of is, for real. Maybe he hasn't learned to use it yet. It's possible. I've been thinking about that as well. I suspect Gus doesn't really pay attention to the rankings, so he might actually just see all the irregulars as being equal in some aspects. And I actually think he might be one of the weaker ones. If Batman and Urek are opposites as we think they are, do you think Urek will recognize Bam's black Shinsu like some sort of power of the outside? That's an interesting question. And honestly, something I've been thinking about for a while, like, because maybe Bam was created by the darkness and he's a luminous one, could they clash? I don't see it happening because he already knows Bam and understands Bam, and Bam might not want to be that anyway. It's the same way Phantom Minim told the darkness, I don't wanna, when they asked him to come back. But I don't know that Shinsu would be the thing that reminds him of it, because Shinsu doesn't exist outside the tower as far as we know. But maybe there's another quality Bam has, like the ability to devour or something to do with the darkness, 25th night, if you will, that could remind Mazino or Phantom Minim. But I don't think it would necessarily be the Shinsu, unless the Shinsu in itself acts similarly to Phantom Minim's power on the outside. I guess that's the best way for me to answer that. But ultimately, I don't think Urek and Bam will ever come to blows or be at odds. Then you have to ask yourself, how does V play into all of this? Vam. Maybe Urek will make sure Bam doesn't become like Phantom Minim. There's that too. He probably would want to stop him from becoming his actual enemy. Because originally, it almost seemed like Mazino chased him here for fun. But now it almost feels like Mazino's destiny is to either lose or defeat Phantom Minim. But with the lore we got, Gus knows everything. His knowledge is unbeatable in the tower. Crazy he wouldn't know anything about Urek'S true origin is who he is. But how would he know? There's no record of it, right? Even when the guy looked him up, he's like, who's this guy who's strong with no background? And if Mazino's not walking the tower, you're like, hey, I'm a luminous one. I was born from the primordial, like, for all you know, he's not blabbing that. And like, realistically, do you guys think that this is something SIU was thinking about from the beginning of Tower of God, or an idea he had later on? You know what I mean? Kind of like Beerus being a god of death. Like, it doesn't conflict. It's additive, but like it wasn't there from the beginning, which could make things a little screwy. Like that's kind of where my mind is, at least. Excuse me. Bam may be an entity that the god planted in the body of a dead child after making a deal with Arlene. Maybe this god is darkness. It could be. By the way, though, for the outside god, I think there's two. If people think there's a god of darkness, there has to be a god of light. That's just my opinion. The same way I think there's a god of machines and plants are kind of opposites in the tower. So I think there's two gods outside. But a lot of that was sealed when he interacted with Urek on the floor of death. All of what was sealed? Sorry. Scroll back up. Oh wait, the knowledge. Yeah, he kind of discarded a lot of his memories. So I don't know how much Gus. I don't know. I just don't think anyone really knows what Mazino is really about from an outside the tower perspective. I think everything they know about him is things that he does in the tower. But I could be wrong. Urek better pray as how you don't put him against Bam. He gonna be a stepping stone for CBL. I think Bam is V with amnesia, so there's two personalities in one body. That's really interesting. I think you said this to me on Patreon. He might not know everything in the tower, but the outside, I don't think so. Unless the workshop outside the tower that's in contact with Gustang maybe is telling him stuff, but I don't know what they know. I mean, Urek has some sort of light Shinsu, which we know is a source of power that comes from outside, and the fact that he's a luminous one, maybe with Bam, it'll be the same. Urek will notice not the Shinsu, but the darkness within the Shinsu. It's possible. I'm not going to deny that. And we know that somehow darkness could possibly limit his powers. So, because remember, he said he gradually was getting stronger. A part of me wonders why the season 1 anime gave Bam Golden Shinsu was because of random notes Shinsu had about Urek or just irregulars in general at the time, and they didn't read it properly and thought that every regular had it. I've seen enough through 7 chapters. Send Mazino to floor 135. No, not yet. Arya Han gonna chop him into pieces, bro. Maybe Bam is the darkness itself. After Fanta rebelled, the darkness decided to bring order himself and persuaded Arlene to enter the body of Bam. Yeah. Again, you're not saying anything we haven't spoken about before. Last week's stream, last Monday or last Tuesday, we spoke about this. Pretty much, we touched on this topic several times, like. The outside god possibly being that darkness that went in him and revived them. These are some theories that we spoke about, so I'm in agreement. It's a possibility. I'm basing it off the fact that the 13 warriors are from outside too, as they're irregulars too. Them again. This is a whole bunch of headcanon and guessing. Yes, we're doing our best to piece things together. We're just doing our best. If Bam is meant to become the new guardian of order, then I think there's a possibility Rachel will become a luminous one. Michelle Light, Icarus, I don't know. The Michelle Light thing is interesting to me for sure. She does want to see the stars after all. She does. It's going to be fun to see Urek trying to hang out with the family heads and Jihad because they all come from the outside and they can relate, but just realizes that they're just a bunch of sadists and sad boys and amnesiacs. Tower Climber made a video about Enryu being someone who actually cleared the tower above the 134th floor before the Great Warriors came. What do you think? I guess my question would be why wasn't he ranked before them? I have my crackpot theory, but it's not really based on evidence necessarily. I'm gonna say no. I think he came after, but the idea that he was maybe some type of being on a higher floor that left and came back or something of the sort would be interesting. Like, I can probably go that far, but I don't think so. That's just me though. Urek'S Shinsu looks like Zahar's golden Shinsu. Could Zahar be trying to imitate the Luminous one? I want to be Luminous one. I really don't think the 13 Great Warriors know what that is. Is that just me? Does anyone else think is thinking that? Is that just me? I don't think they know what that is. I think his Shinsu is just golden. I think I would describe Urek'S Shinsu as light, shining, luminous. Like, it's not even just gold. It's like yellow, sparkly, and bright, and vibrant, and shiny, glittery. I don't know. That's a good question to ask you guys. Maybe I'll make it a community post and we'll talk about it in the stream. Do we know how long after the 13 Warriors climb did Urek enter? I don't have the perfect timeline, just like estimations. I saw many people arguing the Luminous ones are a whole race. Some say it's only 6, 7, and 7 now with Urek. Darkness is the outside god. Luminous ones were accesses. I can't differentiate the facts from the headcanon. I think one translation said that he turned the strongest luminous ones, with 6 of them into diamonds, but defeated the rest of them. And then Mazino would be the 7th one that was somehow born much after the other ones were defeated. Could it be possible there are multiple worlds connected to the tower and Urek'S is from a different world than the family heads? I just wonder how they didn't hear about each other. That is what I was saying earlier. I don't think they necessarily all come from the same worlds, timelines, however you want to put it. I think it's possible because Bam was in a cave. Where the hell was that? So I'm with you. What if Zahar is old enough to be an actual luminous one and that's why Fanta left him alone? Why wouldn't Fanta turn him into a diamond? Might need to reread it all. I feel that. I think Urek'S is the strongest luminous one, or the one with the most potential since the other 6 were defeated, and the light made 1 instead of 6 the second time. 1 strong enough to be Fanta. So instead of splitting the power 6 ways, they poured, all of that into 1. I'm seeing the highlights for the Champions League second leg with Inter and Barca. Hold on, it's 5-4 in aggregate. Oh, never mind. Shout out to Almo. This went the extra time, eh? Okay, hold on. Was this decided by penalties? I'm guessing Inter didn't win, based on what people were saying earlier. Sorry. This spin-off does call for a reread of the main series. I feel that because the ranking system came after the Great Warriors. That is true. That is actually true, right? Is Inter won? Italia. I'm about to talk so much smack. Oh, I didn't even watch the game. I'm about to talk so much smack. Oh my goodness, I'm tired of the Yamal glaze. Oh, I'm about to be a hater. Oh my god, I'm about to hate so hard. Oh, I love it. Got to hate on the Lakers. Got to hate on Barcelona. Hate is good. Good for the soul. Could it be multiple worlds? What if Zahar's old enough? I read that already. Need to reread it. I think Urek'S is the strongest luminous one and the one with most potential. I read that already. Would be funny if any was just a random from a higher than 135th floor and came down just because he liked Arlene. Like, oh, she kind of hot. I saw this on Discord. Someone was saying that this princess is Hagi Ferroni and the needle she's holding is the Red October. Hagi wouldn't be from the 10 great families. She and Adori switch places. I know. I want to say no because every princess that was gifted a 13-month got it after their climb, but Anak did inherit the Green April from thing, so it's possible. It's possible. We don't really know anything about the adult Zahar. He can be either equal to Urek'S or much stronger. Yeah. I saw someone say that with every darkness there could be light that enters the tower, and Rachel always says Bam took everything from her because his race killed all her race. I hear you, Evan. I wonder if she's an Ari personally. Oh, Ari Han. Not Ariye Han. Ari Han. I think the 13 Great Warriors were from a completely different world than Urek'S and Fanta, especially if the scale of the outside is the same as stated in the other Tales user stories. Maybe the tower is a nexus where multiple worlds can cross or something. Yes. I'm fighting half dozing right now, so my thoughts right now are at least 60% crackpot. I'm about to wrap up soon, so you're good. Enryu may be an irregular who cleared the tower in the ancient times, went outside, entered the tower again, and that's why he appeared immediately at floor 33. He had access to any floor as finisher, and that's why Shinsu control is insane. Okay. Some people call the new princess Rani. Could it be that SIU changed Hagi Ferroni to Rani? Couldn't tell you, but I don't think I hate that idea that he turned her into a needle user from the Arihan family, and this is Hagi Faroni, but not IDA. If Rachel has ties to Arlene, does that mean Rachel was also in the tower? Like, you have to ask yourself: did Rachel meet her in the tower, leave, and come back in, or when Arlene left the tower with the dead child, that's when Rachel met her? Which one makes more sense to you? If we rack the light-based Shinsu quality and Bama's darkness ones, I wonder what Zahar's Shinsu quality and powers in general is going to be based off beyond just gold. I hope his power is based off the concept of space. Enryu cleared the tower and just ended up as a messenger. Fraud alert. All right, guys. I want you to give me your rating for the chapter this week. I gave it a 7.5. Your favorite panel and favorite piece of dialogue. I thought there was a lot of cool panels this week, though I have a pretty obvious favorite, but I think this is my second favorite. It's the last one. I thought this one was good with Rani, if you call it that, but unmoved Mazino for some reason here, just being like, okay, does it have to be my ticket? I like this panel. I don't know why. His face is just kind of funny to me. But I also want you guys to give me your favorite line of the chapter. And for me, it's easily this. You probably don't want to say it's easily this. I'm a genius. That is confidence. That is confidence. You said, I'm a genius. That's why I was able to do it. I'm different. So, yeah, man. But we're in a really good place with Tower Guy right now. I'm feeling very happy about it. You guys will get videos for the rest of the week, obviously. I think I saw Mark was covering it too, so maybe me and Mark will have a little conversation, get you guys a little discussion going with me ordering Mark, since I don't know who else is covering this right now on YouTube, English speaking at the very least. But you guys know I got y'all, man. I got y'all with that content. I appreciate the support. You guys came right back. You guys did vanish. You vanished after the series was gone on hiatus, but as soon as Mazino season came around, you guys came right back. We right back into getting like north of 1K views for everything again, so I appreciate y'all. Last panel in line. My favorite headcanon is for Rachel is that she's part of the outside workshop and was Bam's handler while he was in the cave. Ooh. Would we see Jihad in this spinoff? Hoping we finally get to see Bayek Ryu in the spinoff. Teasing is insane. I do want to see Bayek. I do. Zahard attacks are also space like Cosmos besides the gold. If I'm not wrong, IRL stars can produce gold inside of them. So could it be that Zahard is linked or simply is Luminous? I don't think he's a Luminous one. If the news about Phantom making Zahard his B starts spreading while Urek is in the tower, don't you think Urek would want to meet Zahard even more? No. The more I think about it, it doesn't make any sense for Urek to not have met Zahard at least once, especially when Zahard met Fanta and Fanta left him alive. I guess for Mazino to at least pull up to him to ask him about him, but I don't know. That dude just be inactive. I think Enryu might be way simpler than we think. He might just be a dude who did an old lady a favor. What if Bam devours a tower so he can use Shinsu in the outside world? That's scary. That's a scary thought. That boy's going to be a monster when it's all said and done. He already is a monster, but he's going to be more monstrous when it's all said and done. But it was a fun chapter. It was fun. We're going to see what the princess tries. I hope that Urek gets to fight that Ranker suit. I want to see what he can do against a Ranker with just his physical strength from the outside and see how he starts to use and develop Shinsu. I almost feel like he's going to try to make a bang while fighting him, and then he's going to see him doing the glowing luminous thing, and then he's like, oh, I see. He's going to hit you with the lethal shooter. I understand it now. This is going to like Gorgon's fist. I understand it now. So yeah. All right. So just before we wrap up here, keep the timeline open. Let's do a few things. Just a few. And then we'll be on our merry way. And the first thing is this. my friends, join that Patreon. Join the Patreon family. Look at all this. Look at all this early access and exclusive content. These are all already made. All already made. I've been putting the work in to give you guys what you need. You got early Tower God, early Kubera, and live reactions you can't get nowhere else. And even a video where I talk about all the characters named after Tower God football players, soccer players, if you will. That's all here. That's all here. So go ahead and join that Patreon. And then this is my second channel where I talk about all of my interests, from video games to comics to manga to storytelling things, in video essay format. So definitely give it a look, see if anything here interests you. I got a Bleach video on the way. The last thing I did was talking about River City Girls 2. I got a lot of stuff I'm cooking up. It's just a matter of having the time to do it. So any and all support is appreciated, people. You guys be showing out a lot of the times, and I appreciate that. So that's the Patreon, and that's for the other channel. I almost closed the timeline. I actually want to look at the timeline and learn the chronological order of events in Tower of God. What if I read that already. What if Urek does body reinforcement because all of his bangs are too big? He'd have to be in a space where like he could do it and not have to worry about anyone being hurt or the destroying the environments. You have to be like it's like suspended animation in a 101. Probably because he was told Zahar was sleeping, and from the first chapter we know Urek respects people's sleep. Oh, my Discord link? I got you. 1 second. Discord. How do I do this again? Wait, I clicked on mine, right? I swear one of these days I'm gonna learn how to use Discord. No, I'll click on not direct messages, is it? Is it friends? Yo, someone post the Discord link. How do you do this again? I actually forgot. No, it's this. User settings. No, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, it's this. I found it. Invite the server. I did it. That was crazy. That was crazy. And I did it wrong. Wow. I wonder how angry Urek will get when Lou probably dies. I want to know how it happens too. Like how does it actually happen? Oh, invite to server. There we go. I want to send a link to a friend. Edit invite link. No limit. Never expire. Generate new link. But where's the link? Oh, use the copy button. Oh, someone did it already. He destroyed Helljo with a small bang. That dude with the white cap gonna die, and Mazino gonna take that hat, I think. Shinkai, you're like 2 weeks late, but thank you. The first thing we all thought as soon as we saw Mr. Lou, but yes. He definitely is gonna take that hat in honor of him, in memory of him. Cause I do think Mr. Lou is gonna play an important role and earn his respect in so much from me. I appreciate it. I don't know why that took me so long to figure out, but yeah. All right, guys. We'll be back next week with more Tower of Mazino. Urek'S Ascent. Stay tuned for all the videos that are going to come out. And, yeah, man. Tomorrow I'm doing a One Piece stream on Twitch. I'm behind a few chapters, so we're going to read 2 of them and just talk about it. And you guys be safe and have yourself a mighty fine day. Naya Hemming signing out. Like the video.